Very excited to have Coach Eddie George on with us after a quick word from FanDuel. Guys, March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when their first $5 bet wins. That is $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's going to cut down the nets when it's all said and done. Visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and get in on all the college hoops action all tournament long on America's #1 sportsbook, which is FanDuel. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in the new head football coach at Bowling Green University. It is the one, the only, Eddie George.
Oh, my God. I got to tell you, as a lifelong Bowling Green fan, that's where I went to school, and also as a 30-plus year huge fan of Eddie George, can we take that picture one more time of Eddie sitting there? Look at that.
That's dope.
Outside of you sitting there in Cleveland Browns gear, this is like one of the coolest things I have ever seen. Eddie, great to see you again. How did this happen?
Man, I'm still trying to figure it out, Jay. I'm still. As you can see, man, I look like I got hit by a bus.
No, you don't.
Since last week on a whirlwind. But it's been amazing. You know, about 2 weeks ago, I guess when an announcement was made that this opportunity opened up, I was in Indianapolis at the Combine, and man, I looked at the screen. I was like, man, that's poor timing. You know, right before camp. You know, that's tough. I wonder how they're going to figure that out. And lo and behold, you know, I get a call from Urban and from a search firm, you know, to explore the opportunity to be the head coach, and went on a couple of interviews, and one thing led to another. We found common interest. You know, weighed a lot. I mean, it was tough because of the timing right now. It's right in the middle of the spring, 2 weeks before spring ball, and just the impact of this decision that it had on a plethora of people. I mean, from the student athletes at Tennessee State to the coaching staff to the families. And certainly what this program has already been going through once the head coach decided to leave. So, you know, to be smack dab in the middle of this, trying to make decisions and so forth, trying to stabilize the program, has been daunting, but that's where we are right now. But it's been really an awesome experience since I stepped foot on the campus. The love has been amazing. The people here are great. Jay, I totally understand why you came to Bowling Green. This is a really unique place to be at. Great experience.
Pisanello's Pizza. That'll be your go-to, okay?
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. I like it.
Good. Very good.
Hey, Eddie, man, my grandmother always tell me God's timing is kind of crazy. So to just hear you talk about how this all came about, first and foremost, man, congratulations to you. You know, I was a kid growing up. You was like one of my favorite players. I remember when Madden 2001 came out, you was on the cover. Hurry up, put you on the Browns right away. Took the trades off, put you on the Browns right away. But I'm all about hard work and perseverance, right? And to see you get your start at an HBCU and work your ass off, man, to get to this point. Just talk to people about, you know, the hard work that went into where you was at. I don't know if this was a end goal for you or not, but just ultimately, like, how that hard work helped you get to where you are right now.
Yeah, I worked my chops, honed my skill set at HBCU, and you know, it was tough. You know, just in terms of the lack of resources, the lack of support. You know, it's not as supportive at HBCUs, and you know that going in. You know that it's underfunded in a lot of the areas, and that's the challenge of it. How can you have a demanding product and demand the best of excellence in that environment? And really what I've learned is that you don't need much. You don't need much to be successful. You just need to have the mindset. You need to have the grit and the grind, a weight room and a field, and, you know, a standard. You know, you take whatever you have in your hand, no matter how much or how little, and you appreciate that, and you treat it like gold. So I treated Tennessee State like I was at a Power 5 school, like I was at Ohio State, or I was at an organization like the Titans or the Chicago Bears. You know, we're going to operate a certain way. I have a certain expectation when we hit the floor. You know, everything is aligned. You know, everything is first class. We're elite, and that's how I approached it. and it did not matter. How far we had to walk, or what we didn't have to eat, or what we lacked. We want to make the best of it. As I told them, listen, we must do hard better. This is what life is about. It's like, nothing's going to be perfect. It's what you do and how you appreciate and have gratitude for what you have. So yeah, it was tough, and I learned a lot. And it was the timing, football timing and God's timing, completely different timing. So I trust where I'm at. I trust what I'm going through, and it hasn't been easy, but it certainly has been gratifying to see, like, man, this is what the hard work has gotten me to, and my family to, and our coaching staff to. So I'm here to immerse myself into the culture, give it all I got. I got a lot going on, as you can see, and just trying to stabilize this coaching staff right now, and try to get on the football field where it really counts.
Eddie, congratulations, obviously, on getting a job at BGSU. I'm a former football player, alumni of the Ohio University Bobcats. Now, you got a little way to go. The Bobcat,
Hey.
I just told them jab. I'm just saying. I mean, we get bold victories. We rolling right now. Shout out to Coach Albert. But no, I want to say this. My dad, he graduated in the '70s. From an HBCU. So that was like, he's proud of that, when there was not a lot of African-American males going to school. My mom graduated from Kent. My brother went to Akron, and then me and my other brother, we played football at OU. So we're a MAC family. Talk about the unique opportunity of playing, get some of the action, and some of the unique opportunities to play some of those teams, like you mentioned, the Ohio States, and some of those guys to cut your teeth on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. The MAC. I'm very familiar with the MAC. I'm a huge college football fan. I played against MAC schools, and the one thing about every single MAC school is that they're tough. Every single one. They play hard. It's about toughness. It's about grittiness. It's about physicality. And looking at this roster and look at the team, they played Penn State and Texas A&M tough back to back at their venues. And I got my behind kicked at Penn State in 1994 when we got beat down. What was it?
It was
63-14.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
that was not pretty, Eddie.
Yeah, that was wild.
Oh, trust me, I know. So for them to go into those venues and to play tough tells me, one, this team is not far off. This is not a rebuild, it's a retweak. And but all the MAC schools from Miami to Ohio to that team up north to NIU, it is a physical conference, and it's very competitive from top to bottom. There's not a lot of separation. So the team that's the most disciplined, the focused, the culture, and bought in, is the healthiest, will probably win it. So I'm excited about that. And in terms of playing the other Power 5 schools, I'm not foreign to that. At Tennessee State, we played against Mississippi State. We went to Notre Dame. The outcome wasn't what it was, but what our kids learned was like, hey, you know what? They put their pants on the same way we do. And for a certain period of time, we were competitive and got out of hand, but we were able to learn, like, man, we can really grow. We have a really good team. We're actually went on to have our first winning season after we played Notre Dame. So there's tremendous benefit in playing against schools, the blue blood schools, and in terms of finding your confidence and knowing that you can go out there and compete with anybody.
For those that don't know, in BG, when you refer to the team up north, you're obviously not talking about Michigan. I'll let you say the team's
Toledo,
name.
Toledo,
I can't.
Rockets, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I like how you bought in early. I like that. He's already
indoctrinated. Eddie, I'm fascinated to hear the connection between Urban Meyer and Eddie George. Obviously, Urban Meyer, before he went on and had great success at Florida and Ohio State, was at Bowling Green, and then he went to Utah, and then Florida, and then finally onto Columbus. I'm sure you had met Urban during his years as coach there and had built a relationship with him. But if I'm hearing you right, it sounds like Urban was the one driving this Eddie George to BG train. How did all of that connection, and what does your relationship with Urban come together?
Well, yeah, Urban and I've known Urban for a very long time. In fact, when I first took the Tennessee State job is when he went down to Jacksonville, and we were at a Tim Tebow event, and I told him, "Hey, man, I'm jumping into coaching, and I'm at Tennessee State." He said, "Oh my God, you would be great with a whistle around your neck." I was waiting for that day. So, fast forward to again, I was in Indianapolis, and I told the story before, if you haven't heard it, but I was on my way back to Nashville. I'm driving back to Nashville. And I love the drive because I get the chance to clear my mind, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, God, what's next? Given the situation in Tennessee State, the year that we had, I'm praying that something something happens that we can continue to sustain our success there. And I said, just give me a sign. And I'm passing through Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I see Bowling Green, Kentucky sign. I say, okay, and I just so happen to look down at my phone. And it's Urban Meyer, a message from Urban Meyer, and it says, "Hey, are you interested in the Bowling Green job?" So I said, "Call me." So we talked, and I'm pretty sure he vetted out other coaches, but he says one name that comes to mind is Eddie George, and he'd be perfect for the job. And he asked me a couple questions. He says, "Hey, I'm gonna, endorse you, and I want you to put your best foot forward and go out there and do your thing."
Wow.
So I did just that. I went on the interview. I did a Zoom interview, an in-person interview, sidebar interviews. And as we kept going down this path, I realized that our interests were aligned and our thinking was aligned. We were in harmony in terms of what I wanted in a program and what they wanted in a head coach. And it was like, oh man, this could be the perfect marriage. It was a blend of the entrepreneurial aspect of NIL and then being an ambassador of the community, the ambassador of the school, which I've done my entire life because I've been an ambassador for Ohio State, I've been an ambassador for the Titans, I've been an ambassador for the NFL. So it was a perfect marriage, and also the fact that now I'm a head coach. So with those three hats, it seemed like the perfect fit, and when I got here, it just continues to feel good. So it's still in the honeymoon phases and before the season starts, but it feels like the right fit because the people here have been absolutely phenomenal in terms of helping me be successful and helping me get on my feet. And the support has been amazing. And I didn't realize this, Jay, but I tell you, man, the fan base here is pretty doggone nice, man. It's I would say it's different than Ohio State. It's more of a rather reserved Uber fan versus Ohio State fan.
That's well said. No, that's well said. And here's the thing, Eddie.
Yeah.
When the program is doing well, and right now I would say the health of the program is there. It's not like you're going to a program that's, a lot of times when you go to a new job like that, they're, the 2 or 3 wins. That's not where Bowling Green is. Yeah. And when you keep winning, man, that fan base is going to grow.
Hey, we look at this. I mean, they lost to Miami of Ohio last year, 28-12. Lost to NIU, who beat Notre Dame 17-7. Played at Penn State, at Texas A&M back-to-back. A 6-point loss to A&M. A 7-point loss to Penn State at their venues.
Yeah. They had Penn State on the ropes in the second half.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you lose a tight end who's going to be probably going in the first round, a really good quarterback. We've got some questions to get answers to in terms of the roster, but in terms of culture, Scot Loeffler he left this place in a really, really great position, and I'm just here to try to enhance it and take it to the next level.
Coach, in the past, you had the opportunity to coach against Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, and depending on who you talk to, their perspective it differs, right? People have a lot of good things to say, a lot of bad things to say. But as a coach and as a former player, I'm interested to know your perspective on one Shedeur Sanders.
Well, Shedeur, to me, and I've coached against him. He tore us up, and we knew what we had in Shedeur. I'll say the second time we played him, we had a beat on what he did well, and that was his sophomore season. But he has an answer. He can see it. He can see the problem. He can identify the problem, and he has an answer for it. And his anticipation is great. His strengths, are definitely in-game moment. I mean, he shines in those moments. You look at his weaknesses, took some bad sacks, probably some poor habits in the pocket. But, for the most part, the kid knows how to prepare. He's cut from a cloth that his father, regardless of what you think about him, Deion, his work ethic is unparalleled. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer for a reason with a great work ethic. I mean, with great skill set. So he understands how to prepare. He understands what it takes to be great. And I'm curious to see, now that we're getting into the draft season and people are going to pick and prod, and we're at that point now where they're going to focus on his weaknesses, and I get it, but Shedeur is going to welcome that challenge. He's going to figure out a way to get better. And I think he's a wonderful young man. He's a competitor, and he's very confident in his skill set.
Eddie, I was talking to my father the other day, and he was kind of talking about, you, Coach Prime, some of the guys that were playing at the top levels of professional football, Hall of Fame type guys, great character. And he said, man, I watch, he watches, your games, he watches Coach Prime's games, and it's like, his kids didn't go there. I said, why do you watch those? He says, because, there's a lot of people that didn't get those opportunities like that, not from a professional athlete standpoint and from an African-American standpoint. And do you feel like you represent, or you are a trailblazer in that right of a player who's played but has something to give back, but sometimes they don't get that opportunity as quickly as possible in terms of being an African-American coach? Yeah.
I never really looked at it that way, honestly, man. A trailblazer. I mean, yes, I'm coming from a different place in life. Typically when you are into coaching, you start at the ground level and you work your way up. Well, there's different ways to get there. I mean, I come from the top down. I played at a very high level. I've gone on to do other things in business and acting and entrepreneurship and education, and it all prepared me. It trained me for this moment. Everything that I've done. So, it's a different approach to it, and I think it allows other athletes to say, okay, this is a great way for me to get into the business, whether it's cutting my teeth at the HBCU or a lower level school, to help bring recognition, to build my brand, and to grow from that perspective. Because to be honest with you, it is tough for former athletes and African Americans to get into the business. We need more representation, and we need more people in positions of power. And we've got to have those opportunities to get in front of decision makers and so forth. So I think that's really important that we continue to be mindful of that, and continue to have programs that allow us to display our talents in that regard. That's why I'm saying that. I'm so appreciative of the fact that I was able to go on the Bears interview, and they've given me a shot, and it went really well. And I think that changed the perspective of, man, okay, if the Bears interviewed him, what's really going on? Let's check under the hood. Mm-hmm. And my name came up in Bowling Green. Let's just see. And they found the right fit. So, it's just about getting in front of and exposing your talents and what you're capable of doing to the right people.
Eddie, before I let you go, I have to tell you, every time I think back to you winning the Heisman, I can't help but laugh at I'm sure you remember this. After that night in New York, I was working for Channel 10 in Columbus, and we had sent a limo to pick up Eddie and Coach Cooper and your posse. There must have been 8 or 10 of you. And they came to CBS in New York City, the home of
you still use posse?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm 59, bro. I'm 59. Back then, wait a minute.
Get your friend together.
Back then, it was posse. Back then, it was posse.
Posse, all right.
I gotta stay, I gotta stay corrected in error. And I'll never forget, I'm looking around CBS newsroom in New York City, and someone figured out how you could dial out on the phones. They didn't have cell phones back then. They said, hey, if you dial 9 and then a number, you can get out. So at one point, there were like 7 or 8 guys on phones at the CBS newsroom, and Eddie and John Cooper were getting ready to go live. I don't know if you remember or not, with Herbie and I on Wall to Wall Sports. It was
Yes,
it was a
yes.
crazy night. It was
That was crazy.
I always look back on that time with great fondness, and you were always one of the easiest athletes to cover that I've been covering in 38 years.
That night was magical, man. It was a magical night because I won the Heisman that night. Enjoyed it, and then we went to a spot called Chad's and Wilson's in I think it was Harlem. I can't remember where it was. It was a jazz bar. That's the same night that I ran into my wife. I mean,
Wow.
I lived an incredible life, man. I really have.
You
The
had.
same exact night I met my wife was the night I won the Heisman. So I always brag to Archie. Said, "Yeah, I won the Heismans too. You know, I have 2 trophies as well. I got it on the same night." But it's amazing, man. I lived an amazing life.
You have. Born under the right star, my friend. Best of luck to you at Bowling Green. I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Appreciate you.
All right, fellas.
Come
God
back
bless y'all.
anytime, man.
All right.
Talon's up.
Yeah, there you go. Talent's up. Ziggy Zumba. He's learning all of the talk.